This one, though, I feel like is kind of the pinnacle. Everyone.
You don't think it could get better than this?
Nope, this is the end. This is the last Nevo. The last and the best.
Hi, I'm Karin Wiener from the New Wheel in the Bay Area's electric bike shop, and I am joined today by my partner, Brett, and we're going to be in discussion about the Riesemuller Nevo 3. The Nevo 3 is the 2021 version. It is a bike that has been perfected over generations in the Riesemuller lineup, and really takes a fresh and serious perspective on what an electric bike is, what a step-through bike can be. In it, they've integrated a new motor, which elevates the ride experience in terms of the amount of power you get.
It looks like just a badass, vehicle. You wouldn't necessarily see it as an electric bike necessarily. Yeah, I wonder if Bosch is gonna get nervous now because you don't see the motor, you don't see the battery, you barely see the console.
They're used to that. I mean, you don't see that stuff in their, power steering motors or the motor that they use to pull up the London Bridge or the Panama Canal. I think they're quite comfortable with being behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. They just want to be the best player behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Year after year, I am so impressed that the Nevo really holds its own in terms of just the most sophisticated step-through bike that there is. Riesemuller has done it again. They've kind of notched it up one step higher in terms of sort of a unpretentious sophistication.
We see these bikes coming back through for service, and Riesemullers are remarkable because every time you see them come back and they get serviced and then they sit there and they look brand new because the paint job's perfect and everything's perfect.
I get so much feedback from Nevo owners in particular who will get a tune-up 5,000 miles down the road or something, and they let us know, my bike feels better than it did the first day I bought it.
Yeah.
And that is totally, that has to do with the guts of this bike.
Yeah, you can
not
only do that.
Else.
You can only do that with a quality bike.
Yeah.
You want it to be. It fits your body the right way. It feels stable. You don't even, when you're riding it, you don't even think about how great it is. It just is there, making your life better.
There are lots of sweet features that come standard on the bike, but there are certain things that you get to pick. And the big one is the drivetrain. So there are 3 different options. You can get the touring setup, which is really like a regular derailleur that you might have had on your mountain bike or something like that. It's a very quick shifting style and really familiar feeling. The 2 other options are both carbon belt drive options, which makes maintenance much lower. There's no lubrication needed. The NViolo is super simple. It's a non-indexed gearing system, and it's really a favorite among people who just don't want to think about too much with regard to shifting.
And you can shift at a stop too, which is
you can shift at a stop, which is hugely handy. Yeah. Which brings me to the e-roll-off, which just takes kind of integration of the drivetrain and the Bosch system to the next level. It's an electronic shifting system with an internally geared hub that's very well known for being very reliable and having the widest gear range. So the easy is super easy for insanely steep hill climbing, and the hard gives you a lot of resistance so you can really get rolling on a straightaway. On that system, when you come to a cold stop, the system automatically shifts down. All right. Okay, take care.
How's it ride?
Super.
You can choose your gear and have it shift to it so you can start easily. As far as I can see, every option that they have available to put on a bike is available on a Nevo.
Right.
So you can get it high speed, you can get it with a CX motor for really high torque. It has dual batteries, and this year they really nailed it with the dual battery setup. They have a single battery internal, up to 625 watt hours, and then they have a second battery that sits underneath the rear rack. It doesn't get in the way of getting on and off the bike.
Changing the battery door so that it just comes right out the top, I think is a really smart, sweet development in the frame design.
They also offer the all 3 display options from Bosch, kiosk, smartphone hub, and the new Neon. And all bikes come with really top ends, front suspension and seat post suspension. So you're covered on that in that regard. You can get it off-road ready with the GX tire setup, and you can get it in the heavy duty package for like heavier riders. So the bike has actually been rated for up to 350 pounds rider plus gear. So
Front rack.
Front rack, yeah, that's true. Front rack. Hydraulic disc brakes from Magura, they're 4-piston. There's different lights on the high speed versus the non-high speed bikes, but the high speed has the M99 light. It also has brake lights. The lower speed bikes have the standard Supernova. All bikes also come standard with a rear wheel lock from Abbas, which you can plug a chain into, and then you have a 1-key solution that locks your battery, locks your rear wheel, and locks the bike to something.
A rear rack that's really designed to take panniers or MIK accessories can clip onto it. One of my favorite kind of like secret details on the bike is just this little bungee cord on the back, which seems so simple, but it's super handy when you need it. And what was the last thing?
Of course,
the
it has fenders.
Oh, and fenders.
Yeah.
You can't have a Racing Muller without fenders. It's
Wouldn't
just
want
not
one.
okay. They're high quality fenders, don't rattle, give the nice thick tires, lots of clearance. It's just a really sweet setup.
The sizing is another important thing.
Yeah, I will second that because they make a small one.
Yeah, the small frame, the 26-inch is truly small. It's not just like, oh, let's shrink the frame, but have the wheels be big and everything else feel big. And then they added a 51-centimeter frame, so now you have just more gradation in the sizing. Yeah, the smallest rider, I would say, if you're comfortable riding, what would you say, like 4'11"?
Yeah, if you're comfortable riding a bike, a little bit below 5 feet is fine.
And then all the way up to like 6'5", 6'6" on the top end.
I would be tempted to say that if you do come into the new wheel, even if you're just window shopping, you should try this bike because it really is kind of a horizon expander, and it brings so many people so much joy year over year over year. Racing Muller has totally polished it in the 2021 version, and we're thrilled to have a bike like this to serve as kind of the ultimate tool to help to get people to attain our mission, which is to get people out of their normal habits of car driving and try something new. That's really the magic of the Nevo.
So come on in.
So come on in. Sorry.
Why don't we try that again? Let's try that.
What did you like about what I said?
That was good.